And
There you go, darling.
bring it up for your group. In your group. Do you have a phone or something you can use to?
Take pictures.
Oh, yeah, the stapler. Yeah. The phone is ready. Well, also to look up some things as we.
Okay, let's see if I can. This is what I didn't navigate well last time.
Sure. It'll be pretty straightforward. What I had trouble with was having a place for the mouse. And, maybe it'll have to be this. Yeah. Right? Yeah, because I had trouble with having a surface.
Okay, there you go. So here's where you are.
Yeah,
Here's what's
right.
inside.
Okay. You can
I can bring
why don't you, but the light is good. I don't know if you can. Last time we had a lot of shadow on it.
Yeah.
Maybe because of you have the red light for a reason, I assume, when you're in the
Well, we need the light
gatherings.
so we can see here.
No, the red
So
light.
you're all here.
And
And here's the master right there. 3/3 goddess deity. So it's all right here.
Yeah, you're gonna draw. Yeah, of course. Yeah, for me, I have to use like bigger font even. Okay. Let's go to daily class.
So I can see you and I can see
Folders.
all of
Hi, Clay. Hey, you're back. That's wonderful. Yeah, well,
Oh, right. Okay.
we missed you at the.
No, Sam's over there. He'll be back.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's fine.
No, it's so wonderful to finally have both the men in class at the same day. They've been taking turns.
Yeah.
We missed you on the. Were you able to catch the
I
slideshow?
watched the last one online. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It
I
was
missed it, though.
pretty heavy duty.
There was a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was all study. It was interesting though.
Yeah,
A
that
lot
was.
of,
My brain was completely fried.
Yeah, but that's why you have the replay, And you might have some questions.
Smell, bird
Yeah.
smell on my approach that I love, like all of that being a constellation,
It is.
like stars and
Yeah, beautifully said. Beautiful way. Yeah, beautiful way of saying it. Yeah. Who? I don't know. I don't know. She's well enough. Yeah. Well, she's in the course, but she and the kids all had COVID for 2-3 weeks, and so she has not been able to come live so far. But she sounded pretty good yesterday.
All right. So
This is-
you just want to
Oops.
just say for the recording purposes, just like the day and the date and session 3.
Ah, okay. Good idea.
Formally kind of.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that for the sake of the recording. What happened? Suddenly all this came. I want to be sure we can get to the.
You'll have to minimize things.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the Google link, the calendar link up so that people who still don't know how to get there, in this last week, I've
Locate the syllabus. That's her one thing. She's not able to find it. So
no, no, it's there. It's just that
sure it is.
I have to change the format. This is the stuff that Karan wasn't able to teach me. And now with James, my assistant, back on. So we've worked 8 or 10 hours this week. So now I know how to do these things. He was almost going to come to class today to say hello, but he'll come. Okay.
Do you want that angle?
Yeah, this is just for my own notes to be there. Okay. Oh yeah, the stapler. I'll put you to work. Yeah, put you to work here. So here. Sitar. That's the tambura. It's called a tambura. It's just yeah. So I'm sure her husband Paul, but I grew up with that. That's how we learn classical music, and I should play what it sounds like through my phone as a background today. That was my plan. So I used to actually play my tambura for classes, but it's too much for me to concentrate on playing and guiding. Yeah, you got it, sister. Beautiful. I want to be sure our group here is ready with the knowing that there's a printed 2-page agenda. Hi, Sam. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I'm so sorry Marjorie had to drop. But it's just as well. Let her do her stuff. You know, just like for me, this is my stuff now. You know, my time to do this. Really, because you recognized it and invited me, was something there. Just the way you had the whole energy. She was just amazing when she invited me. She was like this. We just sat here opposite each other, and I could feel this radiant goddess energy in this place. And I said, "How can I say no to this lady?"
You can't.
No, oh, Rhea's here. Wonderful. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's give her a big hand. The girl who beat COVID. You beat COVID. Yes.
Do you like me to hand them out?
Yeah, please. Yeah. And this is part of what you'll need to do your script. Then
It's amazing, thank you.
So just.
Oh, this is perfect.
I have a class after this, so 4:30.
yeah. No, yeah. Yes, somebody else to be a timekeeper for me too. And would you, Sam? So kind of make sure we end by 5:30 or 4:30. And 5 minutes before that, just do this, if I'm too caught up in my chat or whatever.
Okay, I'll set an alarm.
Yeah, set an alarm.
Do you want a 4:15 alarm?
No, I just need 5 minutes. Yeah, so then this goes to everybody. Janet, thank you. Do I have one? So when you get to the small group sharing, you have that. I just made a generic small group sharing that we can use every time. Oh,
4:25 p.m. alarm.
okay, excellent. No. Yeah, the Google Calendar link is right here. So does everybody in this group know how to access the class Google Drive, Google Calendar, as well as Google Classroom? I know you two are fine with that. Janet, you're getting there. Rhea, you and I both discovered that you have to press the buttons on the Google Calendar for it to open up. And I don't know if you've had a chance, Kerry, to see the Google Calendar. Okay, good. Because I realized 2 nights ago, as my old neuropathy assistant James has been helping me, that really Google Classroom is just an extension of Google Drive. I didn't realize that for a whole month. And so now I'm getting comfortable with going back and forth. Yeah, so, okay, take the. And welcome to everybody here. There's Christine, Eve, Serendipity, and Jackie. Hi, Jackie. You feel a little bit less stressed now that your yoga teacher training is over? Oh, the volume, right.
Lower.
I'm on.
Wait, I have to get my water ready.
Christine, can you hear us, honey? Give me a thumbs up. Great, thanks, darling.
Okay, and everybody here, I want to make sure you have 2 things in front of you. One is just a little format for when we get into small group later. And since two of you were not here last time, and they were, where are the others? Who else are we? Let's see, Kathleen cannot be here today.
Eliza.
Oh, right. Yeah, she's going to be on her way. She just texted me earlier saying, oh, I look forward to seeing all of you. Maybe she's just running a bit late. Kathleen's out of town. Marjorie is dropped. So that brings us down to 8, I guess, or 7. Yeah, that brings us down to 7. Because Lisa is the only one we're waiting for. And then online, oh, Karen is, she managed to, yeah, I guess from her mother's house, she's, yeah. Hi, Laura. Hello, Eve. And, I guess it says, yeah, and Jackie. Okay, wonderful. Well, we're going to begin with 3 ohms and welcome to day 3 of our class. It's February 6th, Sunday afternoon. Welcome. And here in the yoga barn with the beautiful light streaming in from all directions. We're just grateful to be here in this contemplative gathering, in this gathering of the seekers of truth. And when we chant Om, I want you to notice how with the exhale, we set the volume and the tone going so that it stays steady. And when we know we're going to run out of breath, rather than petering out on the Om, we make a clear digital stop rather than an analog trailing off. So let me demonstrate. So. Oh. Stopped right there. Yeah. So it's like right now, of course, as a class, we're adjusting to the pitch that I'm using. But when you chant, I want you to find your own pitch. What is the most comfortable to you for tones? And we use that to make this steady tone, using the breaths to elongate that tone, and then actually make a digital stop. There's no need to keep overextending because you want it to be, something that can be an ongoing. Now we'll do it together 3 times, taking a deep inhale, Anjali Mudra at the chest. Om. Lovely how the plane, the drone joined us. I don't know if people online could hear. At the end of our chanting, a plane was going above us and it beautifully synchronized. We don't want the planes all to stop. Sarah, you're laughing. Were you able to hear that? Yeah, okay. And that's beautiful. So knowing that. Well, I guess at the barn here, you do get a lot of planes going over because the Longmont Airport is right here. So again, reviewing what Om stands for, starting with the no, yeah, I have to. How many of you in this group have ever done the the component sounds? Okay. Okay, wonderful. So And then online? Yeah, okay, good. So what's important in that is the infusion of the sound with the knowledge of what it stands for. So when we can do the three sounds plus Om as a practice, then it is waking up. It's honoring the cycle of creation, preservation, dissolution. So the creation cycle is the ah, waking up into the ah. And the preservation cycle is the ooh, the dreaming state. And the deep sleep cycle is the going back into dissolution. When the lips close and the sound moves, the nasal sound moves right back into the body, and all of it is like a massage of the nervous system. And then the Om, which is an integration, which transcends these three states of awareness, coming into waking, then the dreaming and the deep sleep. You know how important the dreaming state is. So in Yoga Nidra, where we are hovering between the dreaming and the sleeping. Unmute myself.
No, they can mute themselves.
Oh, I see. That's what the sound is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's sound over here.
Sri Devi, can you hear me? I think
Yes. Yes.
issue with the sound. Sometimes you sound very clear, like when you look at the board. When you turn to look at the board, you sound very clear online. But then when you turn straight toward us a little bit, it sounds very muffled. And I did check a couple of others online, and they agreed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
It must be the positioning of the mic.
It's
Yeah.
because this is kind of a fluffy top.
Oh, the fluffy
Sorry.
top. Let's
There's
see.
not much
What
I can,
we
no,
do?
I'm just gonna fold it over. Or do you
Perhaps.
put any brush on? Yep. Find it in there.
It's gonna look
Let us know if
awkward.
that's better, folks.
It's going to look awkward, but what do you do?
Can I ask you a question about?
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, okay, let me just check. How's that, Sarah? Okay, everybody's raising there. Okay, one more thing. I have to find my markers. Where are the markers?
When you were growing up,
Uh-huh.
is the cultural Aum or is the cultural Om? Like,
There's only Om.
I sort of thought that was like an American abbreviation. Like they couldn't be bothered to do the Aum, so they just went Om.
No,
No, okay.
it's ah, oo, and separately, long. But there's also a vowel mantra called Aum. But that is not the equivalent of pronouncing Om.
Okay, so
It's just a separate thing. You know, we have 16 vowels and we have 16 vowel mantras like im, rim, rum, I'm, aum, So those are the throat chakra petals. And I can teach you that when we come to the koshas.
pronunciation is Om.
Yeah, everyday pronunciation is Om.
Okay, that's fine. I just.
Yeah, no, it's an important question. I get it over and over again. It's because Westerners, you know, when they write, etc., if they would just do what I'm doing here, which is to show the sonic sound, show multiple letters, do a. So, you know, it's a continuous sound. If you only put the A, the Western mind is going to think, you know, no, it's going to say A. And so they're just going to pronounce A-U-M. And I've had people come up to me and say, you know, I love the mantra A-U-M. They think it's just A-U-M. And then that can be a mantra too. But no, it's, yeah. And the grammar of Sanskrit causes this pure, these are two pure vowels, A and U. The other pure vowel is E. So these are the three pure vowels in any language system. These are the pure three vowels of sound. And when they combine, then they form the other more complex, what we call the diphthong vowels, such as O and Ow. So they are called diphthong vowels, that is derived vowels from the three primary. So the way the Om sound is structured, it is a complex derivative of 3 pure vowel sounds. Ah, ooh, and so the practice for it is exactly that. Ah, and when you do the ah, you feel the rising up from the belly coming up. It's called the guttural vowel. It's really comes at the back of the throat, opens into the back of the throat, and that's called the creation energy because it's the breath being released upward. Ah, massaging the whole from the diaphragm moving up. So that's also metaphorically equivalent to the Kundalini rising out of the deep sleep state. So think of a snake, 3 coils, 3.5 coils, and the head of the snake is just tucked into its coils. That is the root chakra, the symbol inside the root chakra. And since for this first phase of stage 1, annamaya kosha, the physicality dimension of our being, we are taking our awareness to the root chakra. It's important to know the tantric symbology as well. And so it's a cobra with its head tucked into the 3.5 coils. 3 coils represent the many triads of yogic philosophy, one of them being the 3 states of awareness. And there's always a 3 plus 1. So that's kind of the half coil as the, and that's also the half, the 3.5 coils. The half represents our sadhana, our effort. So we need to rise up to the heart chakra, and divine grace meets us there. So it is, so, and the 3 then represent our efforts in the 3, overcome the 3 gunas, right? Tamas, rajas, and sattva, because as you're the waking state, this is a little bit of a review. Tamas to rajas, the dreaming state, rajas to sattva. There's still a lot of rajas, there's a lot of activity when we're in a dream state, and we can, sometimes you can shift the dream to where you want to go. How many of you have had that experience? You can sort of guide the dream, or you can come out of the dream state momentarily, and then you can kind of go back. So those are opportunities in yoga for the next stage of yoga nidra, that is called dream yoga, where we can do sankalpas to program our journey within our dream state. And so then moving on from there to the deep sleep, that dissolution. So you have creation, preservation, dissolution. And I'm still looking for my markers.
Debbie, can I ask you a question about the states?
Yeah, sure.
I've heard you refer to them as like sleeping, waking, and dreaming.
Yeah.
Sequentially.
Mhm.
So dreaming here is sort of second.
No, sleeping. Yeah, this one is sleeping, dreaming, and waking in terms of how this diagram, waking, dreaming, and sleeping.
So,
And but the diagram is not part of the original teaching in the Upanishad, which is called the Mandukya, where this teaching comes from. So it was probably written around 500 BC as the latest. Yeah, I must have at the very end just forgotten. So
deep sleep is deeper than the dream state.
Oh, absolutely. So it's in terms of the brainwave frequencies, then you're say 0.25, because we don't go to 0, 0.25 to about 4 hertz. That's the deep sleep state. Then 4 to 8 hertz is the theta, or the dreaming state. And then, so you're coming from low, long frequencies here to slightly higher. Then you have the yoga nidra state, the alpha, 8 to 12 cycles per second. And then finally above 12, going up to about, say, 30, maximum 35. It's what we are in right now. We're probably just about 25 right now. Thank you.
All I have is
That's fine.
Sharpies.
Sharpies,
They're a little smelly.
yeah, no, they're going to work fine. At the very last moment when Sam came, I must have somehow just not packed my pen, my pens, but thank you. Perfect. So, so the creation energy, preservation energy, dissolution energy. Yeah, so I like to think of it as I put 3 cyclical arrows, and that's the same with the 3 states. So you have the waking state, you have the dreaming state, and you have the deep sleep state, and transcending all of that. Each of these is transcending that gunatita state, what goes beyond the 3 gunas. Again, tamas to rajas to sattva, and this is sattva, and then this is beyond sattva, gunatita, beyond. So if I have a little dot in the middle, that shows the transcendence. And how does that transcendence happen? By our cultivating the witness consciousness. That we think of yourselves like in the middle of a triangle pyramid, and or mountain. Mountain is a great analogy that's used in yoga, the mountain of the chakras, the mountain of the electromagnetic field that we generate in our spine, in the nerves, in the organs, and in the subtle anatomy of the chakras. So all of that peaks into a mountain peak that rises a foot or 2 above our heads. And so it is, so it's like, so the base, the triangular base of that pyramid is all the triads of yoga: sleeping, waking, dreaming, creation, preservation, dissolution, tamas, rajas, sattva, and past, present, future. So the 3.5 coiled kundalini primarily is linked to time. It is how all time is dormant until she begins to start rising up. And for her to rise up, divine grace has to come down in terms of teachings, teachers, methodologies, practices, so that our awareness can wake up and be purified. And once the Kundalini rises here and her cobra hoods are fully open, and I've seen the magnificence of a cobra hood open in the wild in India. I've had many encounters with cobras. So, and the way they can twist almost 360 degrees, and then there is this beautiful symbol of the partial trident, kind of like that. So you have that symbol on the cobra's hood, and we just have to imagine a central channel. So this would be like the Ida and the Pingala, and then so that's why that is used as a Shiva's trident, probably because the indigenous civilization of India was all tantric, and of course we have snakes all over India and all our rainforest areas and beyond. I had to learn how to handle snakes from a young age. And but the cobra and its magnificence, the open hood. So we are in our divine multiplicity there in the Sahasrara crown chakra. And then the Kundalini has to descend all the way back, because our normal daily life is a series of insights, intuitions. We come into a state of equanimity. We cultivate the witness consciousness, and then we go unconscious again. Some event happens, and we get traumatized. We are ill. We just get angry with somebody. So it's all the way back down, and the journey starts. So this is the continuous movement of the Kundalini ascension and descension, and those are linked to the stages of speech. And that's why mantra is so important. Stages of speech and mantra are linked to what is called the inner sound current of the Kundalini journey. The inner sound current is called nada. That is the name for it. And the whole discipline of nada yoga, or the yoga of sacred sound, underlies this chanting of Om or any of the mantras, deity mantras or bija mantras, bija seed. So the seed sound for the annamaya kosha, the physical embodiment sheath and the root chakra that symbolizes the base, the earth element. So that mantra is Lam. And when we say La, it's called a semi-vowel. We have 4 semi-vowels in Sanskrit, which is the same in all languages. Ya, Ra, La, Va. So say those after me. Ya, Ra, La, Va. So Yam is the heart chakra mantra. Yam. And then Ram is the navel mantra. Let's see if I have some blank pages. Yes, I do. So if you bless you. So Lam is the earth element, root chakra. And because the Yoga Nidra training here is from the Tantric school of Bihar School of Yoga, which was the original place in which Swami Shivananda of the Himalayas got the intuition that Yoga Nidra must be brought out from the Tantric texts, and he appointed a few of his chosen disciples who started to impact the West, especially from late 50s onwards. So Swami Satyananda Saraswati was the foremost among them, and so he was the one who arranged a team of scholars to bring the Yoga Nidra out from both Tamil texts, which represents the indigenous Tantric yoga tradition, especially of South India, and then also from the Sanskrit. So I'm putting in the Sanskrit characters also because some of you may get very interested in wanting to maybe make your own chakra chart with the symbols or even little prayer flags. You don't have to keep buying the chakra charts online anymore. You can make your own. I've made so many and given away. And eventually by the end of the course, I'll teach you how to write your own name in Sanskrit. And so Lam, then, so notice how the number 3 here is 90 degrees to what it normally is. The number 3 comes from Sanskrit. All the numbers do. So this is showing that it's in a state of dormancy. The rising Kundalini is in a state of dormancy with having the 3 resting, a state of rest, dormancy. So Lam. So I want you to learn what's called the Roman transliteration system, so that when you see LAM with a dot on top, the dot will either be on top, sometimes it's below, depends on the method. But it's the A always represents a sound so Lam, so kind of like LUM. But to practice this, because this is a universal system, to give you the correct pronunciation. Vam is the water element. And that's your pelvic chakra. So as we go, stage 1, Yoga Nidra, Annamaya Kosha, it relates to, I'm just going to put one name here, Annamaya. And how good is the visual there for people online? Laura, can you see it? Okay, great. And then Ram, it's like a 2. And if you make the sound Ram, Ram, rrr. Feel the reverberation. That's called a cerebral sound or a retroflex sound. These are all semi-vowels. So a semi-vowel links the consonant to the vowel. And the consonants are considered the stable, the structure. And so in the chart of the alphabet, the consonants are like the earth element. They provide the stability, the structure, the source, and the vowels play. It's the dance of Shakti. So that's the energy. So that would be the Prakriti in terms of Sankhya, and Purusha, just the stillness, the source would be consonant sounds like ka, ka, ga, ma, ta, pa, all these sounds. And the semi-vowels are the bridge. The semi-vowels are the bridge. That's why the semi-vowels are used for the bija mantras of the ascension of consciousness of the Kundalini from the densest level of the earth element. Stage 1, Yoga Nidra, script 1. And moving up to stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. Just stay with the space element. Ram, yeah, so fire. And this is the navel chakra. So when we say lam, lam, feel the sensation in your mouth. The tongue is against the teeth. Lam, lam. Oh. So the teeth then represent the constancy. The teeth in the mouth, the teeth are the presence of Shiva, consciousness, stability, structure. And the tongue is Shakti. So as she moves around, so lam. Then when we do vam, vam, you have to use not only the tooth, but you're using the lips as well. And so for the water element, you need both. Water is, so this is tamas, then water is tamas with a little bit of rajas, just a wee bit coming in there. Fire is all rajas guna. And as we climb here, we have come to the heart chakra now. Oops, I got the wrong one there. Yum, yum. Notice how with the character, it's like a, we call it a parrot beak opening up. So if you think of this character here, so if it were straight, then that's a straight boundary. But when it's coming out, and then make your spine the axis and turn that character around, you see the heart chakra expanding. So the expansion is shown by the womb of the goddess expanding. That's what the ya represents, the character. Yum. And that's the air element. Heart chakra. Energy of preservation. So earth starting to rise up. You have the energy of creation here. And then fire is transforming all of that, but it's being preserved by the air element, preservation energy there. And then the last one up here, hum. So hum. And there's the space element. Continuing to just pervade, preserve. So the air element is what preserves life in all directions. And then, yeah, I've run out of room to, no, wait a minute, I have them all. Yeah, lam, vam, ram, yam, hum. Okay, what am I missing? Oh yeah, I didn't write throat chakra. So when we speak, when we chant mantra, then the space, the energy of space is available for sound to travel. Sound waves need air because it's pockets of air that are compressed. It's the compression waves that reach our eardrum in order to convert those signals of air compression into cognition in the brain. And so without space, there can be no sound. That's why when you are in outer space, there's no light and there's no sound because there's no air. You need air for even to shine a light for it to reflect back before you can see something. Yes.
What's the dot on all of them? What does it say?
The dot symbolizes the So, and that's why I've shown the dot here too. So, so the M above shows the dot and the characters. So the character ha is rather special. Does everybody have this chart? I'll make sure you get a nice handout too. Okay, all right. But just to tell you a little bit about how these characters, if we take hum, notice it's like an S, so it's kind of how does a snake move? Anybody seen how a snake moves on the ground? It moves exactly like that. So it's the movement, and that's why the Kundalini, where the two sides, the two snakes, they meet in 4 points, and then they finally converge, kind of behind the nose. So that's how it's pictured. So this, for all of you yoga teachers there, this is a great character to show. So pronounced as hum, hum, hum. Yeah, so it's the throat chakra, bija mantra. It's the space element. It is a major mantra for Lord Shiva. Shiva is one of his forms, is the blue-throated Shiva called Nilakanta. And in cosmic cosmology, when the ocean of consciousness was churned with the mountain peak of the one that we call Mount Kailas in the Himalayas, where Sam is going to go on pilgrimage somewhere in the next year or two, for sure. And I have been mentally, but that mountain in cosmic mythology is used to churn the ocean with, of course, a never-ending snake. So there is always the snake mythology. And the poison that spits out from the snake's mouth is going to overwhelm all the gods on one side and the demons on the other side who are doing the churning. So it's like, help, here's this poison up in the air. And then Lord Shiva comes to just swallow it. And with his beautiful consort Parvati or Shakti beside him, she puts a spell so that the poison does not go below the throat. And so that's why we picture the throat as kind of a blue lavender color. And it represents all of the poison that is churned up from our awareness when we begin to practice. So first is the poison has to come up, all the toxins have to come up, all the traumas have to be released. Only then can the next stage begin. So the layers and layers of layers. So hum, it's called the breath of Shiva. The very sound that our breath makes is ha. It's a very sacred sound in all traditions. It's there in Jewish mysticism. It's there in Native American. It's there, which is there in the Egyptian, and certainly in the Arabic and in Islam. La ilaha illallah, the bliss of Allah, the one who is without any beginning or ending. Allah. So we have the ha in Sanskrit as well, even just namaha for every deity's name, the mantra. Om Devyai Namaha, Om Shivaya Namaha, Om Kalyai Namaha, Atmane Namaha, honoring the self within us. So notice this is your Pingala. I better spell that again. Yoga teachers, remember this is your solar channel, right? And the right side of the body represents the sympathetic nervous system. This is what is activated when we inhale, represented by the inhaling breath. Then on the left side is the Ida. Ida, and these are the ways to actually represent these sounds in the Roman transliteration. So Ida, lunar channel, parasympathetic, the cooling side. The other one is the heating side. So the polarities, the Tantra bridges the polarities of existence, the polarities of conceptual schema that really ultimately go to the electromagnetic field of the earth itself, that we have a north and a south, we have a plus and a minus in the electrical field, and a north and south on the magnetic field. So that polarity then comes into how our bodies are organized, the polarities of energy within our body, and so this character shows. And then notice this stem. Every character in the Sanskrit will have a stem, long or short. So that's the central channel, the Kundalini channel, right in the middle. in between these two intertwined snakes. And what is the name of that one? Anybody remember the name of the central channel? Sushumna, yeah. Sushumna. Where am I going to write that? Here. Sushumna. And Sushumna being the central channel, the Kundalini herself is rising through that. So it's the channel of self-awareness that is rising through the central nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, which is the hardest for us to control. Hi, Leela, welcome. And so you've seen this diagram a million times in class at Naropa. You must sit here and wonder, oh, am I in Sanskrit class again with Sri? So the Sushumna and our concern in Yoga Nidra is how we begin to work with the sympathetic nervous system. And so when we engage in squeeze, release, when we engage in just following the breath, when we follow the breath and our awareness is linked to the following of the breath, then automatically the signal goes to the brain networks that it's about the parasympathetic system, that this is a cooling down that's happening. This is a soothing, comforting thing. My breath doesn't have to be pumping and the cortisol doesn't have to be pouring out. So rather than in the flight or fight, what is that thing called? Flight or freeze?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight, but that's fight or flight is all still sympathetic nervous system. Where's the opposite of that? Freeze, I suppose. I don't know. Freeze is trauma. Yeah, yeah.
Rest
So we
and
don't even have a metaphor. Let's see, somebody contributing from the online.
Rest
How
and
would we-
relaxation. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
relaxation. Okay.
Or rest and digest, I've heard it say. Rest
There it
and
is.
Ah,
It's
digest.
that's a good one, Sarah. Rest and digest. Okay, that's like what the cobra does after a heavy meal. Have you seen a python? Oh my God, I've seen a python having swallowed a huge rabbit, and then you see the bump slowly going through. Rest and digest. Anyway, this is important because it brings into focus how Yoga Nidra at a very fundamental level in its tantric basis is linked to the three yogic channels. And so all of the activities to relax the sympathetic nervous system and give clues to the parasympathetic that we are nurturing you, we are feeding you. So there are many, many receptors on the left side of the body, all, right from the colon into all the muscle groups. The colon is a huge one. That's why when someone is deeply stressed, they often have to rush to the bathroom because then, the receptors of the colon will be so.
Everything just stops.
Well, that can happen too. It's so when we follow the breathing, we are calming down the sympathetic nervous system. When we are rotating our body awareness, ROC, rotation of consciousness, and you saw on the slides how the whole sensory motor cortex, that part is given the signals to relax. And Richard Miller puts it beautifully, in his books. He says, from body sensing and body scanning, you are taking the brain into relaxation. We're taking our awareness to the extremities of our bodies, especially where we have the most nerve endings for all the five senses are on the face, on the hands, and next will be on the feet. Because those evolutionarily, those have evolved for us to be able to survive. And so that's the important thing. And so this was a quick lesson on showing how embedded within the Sanskrit theology of mantra and sound is the attention being paid to the yogic channels. And what about the elements, 5 elements? How might they be part of the 3 yogic channels? Think about lunar, cooling, So this is all tamas guna, calming. Rocks, earth, caverns, soft sand, in our body structure, then that would be our bones, muscles, flesh, blood, tissues, skin, all that is part of the attributes of the root chakra. The root chakra has 4 petals, and I guess I should draw that too, because we're all in the annamaya kosha now. So the 4 petals of the root chakra square, and within that is a triangle pointing downwards. It's a red triangle, and you'll have to visualize that as red, because I don't have a red marker at the moment. The markers somehow stayed on the table when Sam picked me up. And because we have to learn to visualize, right? Visualization is so important in Yoga Nidra. So a red triangle facing downwards. That's one of the most important imageries of the root chakra. So you have 3 aspects there. There's a circle, you have a square, and then you have the triangle. And then you have the dot, the golden dot right there, the bindu. That's what connects the whole central channel all the way up. Every one of the chakras will have a dot. A triangle always represents action, transformation, alchemy. A square always represents stability, structure, dormancy. And the circle always represents the fullness of reality, the cyclic nature. And so the main bija mantra is Lam, right to the core. This is all earth element, root chakra. Raise my hand up there. And then you'll have the mantras of the petals, what we call petals, the emanations, and what they would all correspond to with our, so that the whole thing kind of is the body structure, the physicality of our body. So you'll have the bones, muscles, flesh, blood, bone marrow, skin, and everything that's part of our physicality is represented by these 4 emanations. And there's the nature of the moon here, this is the moon is new moon. So completely black, new moon. Goddess Kali. You have Kali, you have Ganesha. Ganesha is the major deity in the root chakra, kind of helping to awaken our awareness into from tamas into rajas. So he comes with many weapons to strike at the obstacles on the way, so that our path is opened up. So some other mantras to know here. Tracy Stanley uses this in her book. Gum, gum, just say that, gum, 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 gum. Feel it resonating, right at the base of the spine. Gum. Now try lam, 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 lam. And I'm just going to repeat for you, but not, just very quickly. So you hear the mantras of the 4 petals, and those would be shown as Sam, Sham, Sham, Hum. Is it hum or is it vam? No, it's vam. Vam, because it goes on to the next element. Vam. So some stirrings of the water element are in the earth element. So the bija mantra vam is brought in here too. So sham, sham, sam, vam, sham, sham, sam, vam, sham, sham, sam, vam, sham, sham, sam, vam. And these sounds, sham, sham, sam, hum, are seen as the hissing sounds of the serpent as the Kundalini rises. And for sages and yogis over thousands of years, they have heard some of these sounds in meditation. And that's why they became incorporated in the sacred theology of sacred sound, Nada Yoga. And why is it important in Yoga Nidra? Because in advanced Yoga Nidra, we work a lot with the psychic symbology and the imprints, the visual and psychic imprints of the colors and the shapes. Kerry has the chakra charts on either side of her door here. So it's like an entire Yoga Nidra sequence, say on a monthly basis, can be planned around each of these chakras, each of the koshas. So this is very much linked to the annamaya kosha. Annamaya kosha. Okay. And what guna predominates annamaya kosha? Tamas, which is all about stability, structure, root, rest, dormancy. And what are some of the negative attributes of tamas guna? Stagnation, lethargy, depression, especially, during winter, what comes, SAD, and because we are so linked to the sun cycle. And I never knew what depression was when I was living in India with the sun there all the time, except during the monsoon when you have the cloudy skies. But in America, started to feel it. So it's very much, so on the mental health spectrum, it's also very useful in working with stages of trauma and recognition of trauma to be able to use the kosha model or the chakra model to look at what are symptoms that underlie. And your best guide is the I Rest PTSD book from Richard Miller. And it's a great way to, you have to kind of bridge it because his perspective is very clinical. There's absolutely no tantric perspective in his book, and he didn't have that training, but the tantric perspective underlies all the work of Swami Satyananda. And as you start going into some of his later scripts, you'll see some symbology of the Kundalini snake, and certainly in my own training over there, it was an extensive part of the teaching to know the psychic symbology of the chakras and the chakra attributes, because they are linked completely to our journey of consciousness, from going from dense to what's the opposite of dense? Dense to subtle, we call it subtle. Okay, all right. So koshas, let's just look at the koshas and then we're ready for a practice. Let's keep learning the names of the koshas. Annamaya kosha, annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha. Yeah, you can say vijnana. It's just that that's more a North Indian or a Tibetan pronunciation, and then South Indian or the original Sanskrit pronunciation is vijnana, vijnana. So like a G-N-Y-A, vijnana. Get a good picture on that one. I guess you can take the pictures later too. Right? Yeah. So annamaya kosha, very much the annamaya is literally the embodiment of food. So the body which is fed by food, anna is food. Maya means embodiment of. So here's where you have the 5 elements as they are, and our 5 senses, not as organs of cognition, that is to extrapolate and work with metaphors or analogies, when we might just say, for instance, oh, the path to heaven. That's an analogy. But if we talk of a path in the snow, then that is more a sensory awareness. There is a path in the snow that is covered by ice. Manas, sensory awareness. That is very much the annamaya kosha. So we heighten our sense engagement. So in the yoga nidra, that would be the focus would be really honoring the five senses. That this smell is what is most directly linked to earth. The most primitive sense organ we have is the nose, and behind the nose is the olfactory bulb, which is the organ of smell, and that we share with even reptiles. So it's one of our most ancient systems of surviving is through a sense of smell. And so it's linked to the earth element. What might be linked to the water element? If smell is earth, what might be water? Taste. There you go. Very good. And water is, of course, the water of life itself. Life happens in the water. Sperm and egg come together in water. What about the fire element? What might be linked to the fire element? Third kosha, navel. That comes later. Sight. Sight, because through fire, you have two aspects of fire, right? Heat and light. So heat is really part of the sensations of survival itself. So it's very much a root chakra thing. So in Yoga Nidra, in this first script that you're going to be writing, you can focus a lot on these five sensations. And so with fire, it's about appearance and form, shapes in the distance or looking at a sunset, but it's not what is evoked from it, because that's our abstract mind, our buddhi, which comes in the higher koshas. So lower koshas, it's all manas. Middle koshas or middle chakras is all ahankara, the relationship of the mind to oneself as object and subject. How does something affect me? Oh, this fire is hot. Should I move away? So that's the egoic mind stepping in to assist the sensory mind. So pranamaya kosha. Say pranamaya. Pranamaya. Yeah.
Is the R, we don't really ever in Sanskrit ever say the R sound like we do? Is it
It's the same. It's the same R. We have another vowel R. So it's very soft. Look at him laughing. So try to say, what one? Amrita. Say Amrita. Amrita. Mr. Mr. So it's very soft sound, Amrita. And that is considered a vowel in Sanskrit. So you have a, I, I, then r. So that's a soft R. We also have l. It comes from Tamil, the language Tamil. Yeah. In the closing prayer, yes, Amrita, the nectar of immortality, the state of being in that deathless consciousness, the oneness. Pranamaya. Not only is it the kosha of the air element, so then by then we are in the honoring the air element, the breath, but we're also honoring all sensations with emotion attached. So the emotions are highly used in Yoga Nidra for these two koshas, the pranamaya and the manomaya. We don't bring in the attention to emotions in the annamaya. It is strictly on sensations. But as we get into the emotions of just raw pain, pleasure, and the opposites of depression, anxiety, and jealousy and hatred. And we have 9 emotional states in yoga. They're called rasas. So there's a whole branch of yoga called the yoga of 9 emotions. And there is a book on that, if any of you are interested. It's called the Yoga of 9 Emotions. And it's something that has not been studied in the West so much. It's probably has only one book, and that was from the teachings of this great tantric teacher called Harish Johari, who came from India to America. And some of you have heard about Johari. Has another great book called Tools for Tantra. And so I use all of his work. And so the Yoga of 9 Emotions was written by his disciple, Peter Marchand, who interviewed him over years and took notes. And after Johari passed away in the 80s, then he wrote the book. So people often look at yoga as a discipline and say, yoga doesn't deal with emotions. Yes, it does. We just have to know how to interweave the emotions. And it's in the newer studies with trauma that more and more attention is being paid to how emotions too are regulated by the mind. No emotion can be expressed without using our minds. So the aspect of mind that is manas and the aspect of mind that is rajas, activation, those are very much involved in the recognition of emotion. When trauma is very, very severe, then mind is, you cannot expect the mind to suddenly become the witness, to be able to say, just witness, notice your emotion, don't get entangled in it, just notice it. That is all valid for people who are more or less in equanimity otherwise, but not for a traumatized patient. It's more about just rock your body, feel the sensation. Or hold a pillow, feel the comfort. So or to give them artwork to work with and show me what you feel. And I'd worked with a highly traumatized patient once we did a series of 6 yoga nidras, all body centered and sensation centered. And she was always most relaxed when she could be focusing on, we would do first finger joint of the index finger, second finger joint, third. She was happiest when we were focusing on the hands, and then I would give her some clay to work with. The moment we went anywhere near the third eye and say, become a witness to the car accident. No, we couldn't go there. But we could do things like the sensation of the road, the sensation of the car tires on the road. So we slowly had to approach it from the sensation perspective. And smells, there's all kinds of smells that are within our brain system because our olfactory bulb, the circuits to that behind the nose are a separate circuit, which then sends information to the cerebral cortex. So our primitive sense of smell connected to any trauma or connected to any joyful experience. If I asked one of you to think back to the earliest birthday you could remember, you're probably going to recollect some of the smells of the food or the aroma of candles, or for me, it's always, I can always bring up the smells of the monsoon time because my birthday would fall during the monsoon season, and the smell of the earth after it's just rained. So these smells, and the smell of, corpses, it's for those who have intense experiences with death. So staying with the sensations, that is the annamaya kosha. So in the treatment of any trauma, to stay with the sense of smell and touch, because then the touch comes next. When you have earth, and then you have water, yeah, you have taste, but somehow with touch, that's the element of air, we respond to that very beautifully for seeking comfort, a sensation of touch, hard versus soft, thorny, thorny versus smooth. So you can start thinking about opposite sensations as part of how we're going to work with the pranamaya kosha, the next one. In annamaya kosha, we don't pay so much attention to opposites. It's still good with the people who are normal to be able to work with a spectrum of sensations, hot, cold, dark, light. Those are safe ones to deal with. But again, when we say dark, we have to be careful. That can trigger traumas for people who've had their traumas in the dark. And so this is just my link to say, you know, emotions are linked to both pranamaya kosha and manomaya kosha, our mental kosha, which involves the processing of emotions, the amygdala in the midbrain. The organ, the amygdala, stores unfiltered images. So images, you know, the visual circuitry, and they can be brought through yoga nidra more and more out of that unconscious storage system. They can be retrieved very gently. So the whole object of doing rapid images, when we go through something like a running stream, a mountain, a sunset, a burning candle, we're bringing in all the 5 elements, but not pausing too much. It's just the mind just noticing. So in going through it, that's why they're called rapid psychic images in the Bihar School of Yoga tradition. It's rapid psychic images. And why psychic? Because they dip into the archetypal stream from our own individual experience. They can go into the larger consciousness. Manomaya kosha, so it's processing through the mind, but we're staying much more kind of with the rajas aspect of mind and the tamas aspect of mind. But as we get into the vijnanamaya kosha, this is where our thinking with buddhi starts to come in. So remember, it's not, you know, it's not like a linear progression of these mental faculties where we are using all levels of our mental faculties at all times. It's just that in order to have a contextual basis for how consciousness moves from dense realms to subtle realms, the kosha model and the 5-element model is a way for us to conceive of this. And so in the vijnanamaya kosha, jnana means knowledge. Vijnana is the spreading of that knowledge in a more, in a deeper and wider way within our own being. So I would call it wisdom, say the transition from knowledge to wisdom. Knowledge often can be a collection of facts and information. But with wisdom, you are reflecting on it, you're integrating it. So vijnanamaya. And then the most subtle kosha of bliss, anandamaya, where that buddhi, that discerning mind is discovering its own true nature as bliss, coming into that. And further from that would be the faculty of what's called viveka, which is very high level, the highest level of discernment we're capable of. For instance, to be able to watch a thought coming in and to knock it off. How often can we just knock off a thought consciously? We have to kind of engage with it, you know, chew it around, see what's bothering us about that thought. And until kind of the mental and emotional energy of a thought is over, we're still playing with it like my father would say, playing with the dead mouse tail. You know, the mouse is dead now, you have to go and bury it. So playing with the dead mouse tail is hanging on to a thought, and then you release it. In Yoga Nidra, as we work with the mental screen, which comes in a lot, I'm just going to draw a screen here. Oh, I just ruined my whole chart. Okay, all right, another 15 minutes to generate that. I hope you got a picture before I ruined it. Okay, so mental screen, right? Bring this tablet in front of our closed eyes. And the great sage Ramana Maharshi used to talk about a white cloth in front of the closed eyes, because, you know, in those days in the early 1900s, they barely even saw a reel-to-reel movie thing. It was all screened in front of bed sheets on hay in the little ashrams and villages. And so he would say, the movie projector is at your third eye, and the white cloth in front of your closed eyes. And what is projected there keeps changing. But what is always constant is the mental screen. You have two things: mental screen, source of light. And so gradually, so if you use that metaphor, mental screen, and in Yoga Nidra, the rapid psychic images, the shamanic journeys are all projected onto this mental screen. So you're engaging with the faculty of buddhi. You're witnessing these scenes coming forward there, burning candle, a stream, a mountain. And now in a shamanic journey, you might go to a temple in the woods, and then you might go into a cave of crystals where there is a blessed being, a supreme being, or a teacher waiting to bless you. So these kinds of shamanic journeys, which are happening on the mental screen, then start to engage our higher brain energy centers. And they start to lift the heaviness from the trauma circuits, especially what's called unfiltered traumatic images that are stored in the midbrain circuits, particularly the organ called the amygdala. Okay, I guess I could, no, that's too far away. Amygdala, AMYG.
On Thursday, you showed where that was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, go to your slideshow. The slideshow that you saw last Thursday, it's like a potent mental screen for the whole course. As we keep going through our discussions on these components, we'll be linking back to what the neuroscience reveals. So through the practice of Yoga Nidra and all contemplative activities, we can thicken the brain tissue itself of our thinking brain. So in that way, the brain is aging less. And we're also shrinking the circuits that deal with trauma, that deal with our kind of bipolar mind, if you will. Very much like when somebody has bipolar illness and they unconsciously go on this pendulum shifting. And I know I watch my son. It's just amazing to see that swing. It's, oh, I hate that woman. What she did. Okay. Oh, I love the cat. So it's like, where are you in between? Well, I don't know if I can find myself in between. And the yogic journey is the journey in between. How do we keep finding that equanimity and that resilience to be able to recognize the two? So the way Yoga Nidra has evolved in recognizing the opposites of sensations, of emotions, of thinking, of feeling, in the recognition of that, then the brain circuits that hold on to those extremities, that clinging, that pattern becomes softer and softer and softer. And when you can journal on it and reflect on it, then you can completely eradicate a pattern. So that's the power. Okay, it's time to stop the teaching. Move on to the practice. Okay, so it's time for a break here. Let's, what shall we do? About 7 minutes? Let's do about a 7-minute break, stretch. Okay, say 5 and it'll be 7. Okay. Okay, it's almost 2:45 my time, so we'll meet back at 2:50. Oh yeah, we should take the clip off. Thank you all for your patience, and put away your notes. It's time for press the brain a bit. I hope that was helpful,
Oh, yeah. It's just
Very.
it's just a lot to absorb for some of us. So we're just,
That's
it's like
okay.
second skin for you. And so we're
No, it's not about me. My only goal here is to translate.
right. And so it's just taking
yeah.
time to
It's going to
digest
take
it.
time, but you see how much repetition I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the power of the repetition.
Oh, good. The bathroom, if you need the outhouse, is you just it's
right behind the, where.
Right, it's a
Oh,
trip. It's good to see you.
It's a trip.
Made it through the month and a half or so.
Hooray, you're COVID, right?
We did,
Oh, all of you, like
all three of us.
Soma,
Yeah.
Uma, Rhea, all COVID. Oh, no.
Yeah, they all got it.
Emma was first. She was the one who got it.
She brought it in?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's
Can you
"Oh,
believe that?
no, I've got something for you.
I got a little gift.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'm so glad that you're all better.
I'm glad, in a sense, just that I got it, so it's done.
There we go.
You got it on, you think we'll find out?
Yeah, it looks like.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. Okay. So you can do a few stretches for 5 minutes to kind of, warm up. Especially things to do with the lower part of the body. Forward bending is good. Child pose is good. Rocking yourself in the child pose. Then what's called the crocodile pose. I don't know, some of you know the crocodile pose? Yeah, right.
Face down.
Yes, face down. Yeah, face down, crocodile pose. Anything with the bending forward from the waist, to try to what hastapada asana to be able to touch the feet, and then the paschimottanasana, the forward bending, and then the balasana, child pose with a gentle rocking front and back. And then another great one is Matsyasana, the fish pose, because in getting that throat chakra close to the ground, it gets fed by the earth prana. And it's another great one when we get to the throat chakra. And so
Just is that Sphinx also?
it might be called the Sphinx, I don't know. Fish pose is, you're lying down, then you cross your legs, and then Matsyasana. She knows Matsyasana. What are we doing? Yeah, just to show some of the asanas related to the earth element, Let's see. Yeah, she'll demonstrate the Matsyasana. The Matsyasana. You lie down. No, you're just lying down. You're lying down.
I'm sorry, I'm not really good at this.
Yeah. Then, as you put your head back on the ground, and you really open up your neck. Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And the legs are actually crossed if you can. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, right. That's it. So yeah, unfortunately, the camera is not going to catch what she's doing, but let's see if somebody online is going to do Matsyasana. Laura, you just did it? Yeah. Okay.
I think Christine is doing it.
Christine is doing it. Okay, there she is. That's a beautiful Matsyasana right there. Okay. Yeah, it's what you were doing. So, yeah. So then, Rhea, you would just cross your legs. That would be the difference when in that pose. Yeah. Cross your legs and then your arms. Yeah, there you go. Keep your head on the ground. Head on the ground. Yeah. What opens up is your throat chakra and your chest. Chest doesn't have to be too high. Just, yeah. Leela, you got a good one there. Okay, so these are all examples of asanas you can be doing. Lots of just floor work. Floor work is always great to prepare for the annamaya kosha, and rocking the body from side to side, extending, opening up the hips, and then the plow pose. I can see, Clay's got the plow pose going, the plow, the locust. Anyway, then with pranayamas, I wanna teach you the shitali breathing. If some of you are not familiar with that, it's called the cooling breath, the cooling pranayama. And of course, we usually never do it in winter because then you want the warming breath in winter. But to work with high intensity emotions, when we're in that raw emotional state, it's 3 different pranayamas that really help with that. One is simply the elongation of the breath, what is called anuloma viloma, extending the inhale, extending the exhale. The slower, longer breathing, but actually having your own rhythm. And directing the exhale downwards through the body into the earth. And for the inhale, bringing in the breath from the crown chakra into the central channel, spreading it all through the body. Feel it in your limbs. Feel it in the tips of your toes. Feel it in the tips of your fingers. Inhaling and exhaling into the earth. The best way to do this is in the lotus pose or sukhasana, the easy sitting pose on the ground, and directing your connection to our connection with the earth. Anuloma viloma. Anuloma viloma. So the three pranayamas I like to use for the pranayama. So one is anuloma viloma, otherwise known as extending the breath, both inhalation and exhalation. And Richard Miller makes it a point of saying, extend the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. And that's a conscious way of controlling the signals to the sympathetic nervous system. Because the sympathetic nervous system, the way it is activated is when we start to take quick, intense breaths, and then that activates the nervous system into taking action, because then blood is pumped to all the larger limbs for us to go into fight or flight mode. But when we begin to elongate the breath and slow down the breath and actually fractionally extend the exhale longer, all of which happens in the anuloma viloma, then we are coming into that state of rest, that state of simply nurturing the parasympathetic nervous system. We need to nurture our parasympathetic, our what I call our warrior guardian system, so that it can master and guide the other half, the sympathetic nervous system, like its little sister. It has to guide the little sister to know when to not get agitated and wound up. So another pranayama here is the shitali. Shitali means the cooling breath. And the third one, which is valid for all yoga nidra, is the nadi shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. Nadi shodhana is a wonderful one. In the Bihar school, the monks would come in the nights to make sure that we were putting our lights off in the room, and lights were out, had to be out at 9:30 at night because we were up at 3:30 in the morning. And then they would come with a glass of hot milk with a little cardamom. What in America people now know as golden milk. Golden milk, which is from India, and Ayurvedic milk will have turmeric and saffron and little ginger, cardamom, clove, and nice and hot in a little copper mug. And they watch you sip it slowly, and then they sit on your doorstep and guide you through the Nadi Shodhana, 9 rounds of Nadi Shodhana while you're at the edge of your bed. You're sitting at the edge of your bed and they're sitting on your doorstep, and they guide you through this. Then they guide you into, okay, now you're going to lift your knees, roll over into the sleeping position, and then roll over to your right side to sleep. And then just now, madam, if you will, once more, state your sankalpa, your yoga nidra sankalpa 3 times. And start to follow your breath, start to squeeze and release. So they guide you through till you come to the counting backwards, and then before you know it, they're out the door and you're fast asleep. So it's just beautiful. It was a lovely nurturing ritual that the monks would do to come and for the retreat participants, to put them to bed. And so the Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, which then completely is a conscious way of bringing the equilibrium to the right side, or what we call right nostril breathing, or what is the sympathetic nervous system, and the left nostril breathing, the cooling side. So the right side is also our divine masculine side, left side is our divine feminine side. So Shiva, Shakti, Tamas, Rajas, and the Sattva Guna is the central channel. And the elements are Tamas, sympathetic nervous system is earth plus water. The parasympathetic, or the Pingala, the Ida is the moon side. And that is water plus air. And the central channel is fire and space. Fire for the energy, the tapas, the intensity of the heat of our spiritual practices. The power of repetition, the power of discipline, and the power of repeatedly engaging in this journey consciously. All that is called tapas. So the inner fire. So you have earth plus water in the solar channel. You have water plus air. And then you have the inside, the fire plus space. So the three pranayamas, the anuloma viloma, sending of the breath, the shitali. I'll demonstrate the shitali. You curl your tongue and then feel that coolness of air when you inhale. You exhale is normal, because in India it's just so hot that we keep our mouth open all the time doing this. It cools you down even more. But otherwise, the restrained way of doing it is as you inhale, you allow the cooling, evaporative cooling. This is like having an evaporative cooler, right in your mouth. And you must be well hydrated before you practice this, because otherwise you're just going to dry out. It's a wonderful pranayama to have as part of the preparation for the stage 1 Yoga Nidra Annamaya Kosha. As you inhale, feel the cooling currents moving into the moist throat. And as you exhale, direct the breath down into the earth, like waves of cooling energy. Let that coolness circulate in the brain, in the head, before it moves down. Very important to bring the cooling streams right into the head. The outer brain coils, the cortex, then the middle brain, which processes emotion, and then the deep core brain, which is our automated sensory behaviors and central nervous system. Beautiful. Shitali pranayama. Shitali. Say shitali. Ta, ta, ta. It's a soft sound. Yeah. Ta, 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 ta. Shitali. Well, when you laugh, then you're not going to forget it. You associate a joyful sensation. Shitali. Shitali. Yeah, shitali pranayama. Okay, now the Nadi Shodhana. So this is called the Vishnu Mudra. I call it the alligator clip. You make an alligator clip. Yeah. all of you yoga teachers on the screen, you all know this one. So the Vishnu Mudra, the Lord Vishnu, the deity of preservation. Life is preserved because of our ability to control breath. Controlling and regulating breath preserves life and elongates our own life, breath by breath. So this is like one unit, your these two fingers, and then the thumb on the other side. Feel the soft cartilage on the side of your septum, that the bony ridge. So get to that soft side and practice three sensations there. Because there's an alternate way of doing the this mudra, and I see that, yeah, you're demonstrating with the third eye. So that's also a wonderful way to do this. So the sensation is there. And this is about cooling. This is again the cooling of the third eye when you use that position. But the most common position is the Vishnu Mudra. And I want you to practice three sensations with this. So one is where, of course, your elbow has to be in a good position. This is why in a lot of Lord Shiva's sitting pictures, they have a stick coming up with with an elbow rest. So if we can maybe have some yoga company, now that they've made blocks and everything else, we just need a pranayama rest thing here, and maybe our builder here, a contractor, can contract a carpenter who would design some for this class. But yeah, I'm looking at Sam here. And so imagine that rest over here on the elbow. And you don't want to upset your wrist joint by having any awkward angle. So here we go. The other hand is in the Jnana Mudra, the wisdom position. Just bringing the thumb and forefinger together, and the fingers are all tight so that the pranic, the charged field, is maintained. And it's a way of maintaining our attention on the edges of our body. So in this position, just to one position is simply the sensation of the soft cartilage and feeling a little bit of the sweat on your nose surface. So no pressure, just the sensation of the fingers. Second position, an intermediate constriction so that you can still breathe, but it's a narrower passage, and you have to put a little effort into the breath. So kind of a halfway block. Third one, completely block it. And you have to breathe through your mouth. So again, practice just the outermost touching, then the intermediate, then the full block. Okay. And there's a whole art to this particular pranayama. I could do an entire workshop on just this one. But for right now, for purposes of the Nadi Shodhana, we'll be using just the sensation, that is zero pressure, and then we'll be using maximum pressure. Because this is daytime and it's the solar energy, and so we'll use the right nostril to start with. So just let me just announce the steps. So it would be, you would fully block the left side, but you open the right side, but you don't ever take your hands out. Okay. So inhale from the right, fully block both. Exhale from the left, block both. Inhale from the left, block both. And now open, exhale from the right. Block both. Inhale from the right, block both. Open the left, exhale, etc. Let's do this for 3 more rounds. Your own pace. Just regulate the inhale and exhale. You can set up your own counting system. This is just a marvelous pranayama. Nadi Shodhana means the cleansing, the purification
of the channels, the subtle channels. And here they're referring to the three major ones, the Ida, the Pingala, the Shushumna, which meet right behind the bridge of the nose. It regulates our two nervous systems, the sympathetic, parasympathetic. It regulates the polarities of our electromagnetic field on both sides. Whenever awareness is following breath, then emotions subside. So the power of the midbrain circuit that otherwise activates the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenals, what's called the HPA axis, that is starts to quieten down within just moments. Just takes microseconds. Feel the power of that quietening down. Beautiful. Okay, over the next couple of breaths, just exit out and keep your head slightly bent, say at about a 15-20 degrees, and bring the hand you were using into the Jnana Mudra also. Let it rest. Let both hands rest on your legs. Your head is slightly tipped forward. Gently blinking your eyes, gazing at the floor in a soft gaze. Continuing the rhythmic, relaxed, slower breathing. Notice how all sensations are subsiding. The slight angle of the head, which this is a little practice that's never taught in the West, but it's important to know. What happens when we normally, because we are, walking animals, and when we keep our head erect and perpendicular to the Earth's field, then the back side of our head doesn't receive the angular electromagnetic field of the Earth. So when we lean forward and we're in this relaxed state after pranayama, then the occipital lobe, feel that occipital lobe in the back, including the soft spot where the skull meets the neck. So inside that occipital lobe are several visual brain energy centers and pathways. So they now receive the angular field of the Earth, and they are being bathed in that. And not only that, our forehead, our neofrontal cortex, the newest part of our brain, which we constantly use in this age of technology, that also normally when we are walking erect never gets a chance to receive the angular rays of the Earth's electromagnetic field. So with the slight bending, then the Earth's field is touching our electromagnetic field from our own forehead a lot more. There's a lot more activation. So the ground prana, to put it in a very simple way, the ground pranic energy, the Earth's pranic energy is feeding and nurturing our brains a lot more in this position. So whenever you're sitting in contemplation, any sitting pose, just remember to slightly tilt your head forward, just a slight 15-20 degrees. And then you can go back. Okay, that is the preparation, and now it's time for the practice. So you can add these pranayamas to your list as part of the preparation. You can add some of these asana poses we spoke about, forward bending, backwards, then the child pose, hip stretch, hip rolls. For the people right here, I've given you like a an outline of what can go into the Yoga Nidra script annamaya kosha. For those of you online, it's on your Google Calendar for today. It's also on the Google Drive for today under day 3. Let me see if I can bring it up on the share screen. One of them anyway. Class agenda. Okay. So yeah, components. See, we did the preparation squeeze. So all of the body movements, asanas, pranayamas. So as you look at all your components, you see and I have them listed here as well. We're going to go through the squeeze, release, body relaxation, the rotation of consciousness, all can be in more detail for this annamaya kosha, because it's a lot of attention to the physicality and some of the opposite sensations as body heaviness, lightness, hot, cold, light, dark, sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of sound. Then when we breathe and count backwards, we can choose the lower chakras. We can choose base of the spine, root chakra. We can choose the pelvic region. If you imagine where the sacral vertebrae are, so kind of the, say a couple inches lower from the belly button, and you go cross section of that, you have the whole pelvic bone and the sacral region. So that's where the second chakra, water chakra, is. So you can use that. So, root chakra, pelvic chakra, and the navel chakra. So those are very good for doing the annamaya kosha. And it's always wonderful to also come up to the heart chakra, but it's we don't go into the higher ones. For the annamaya kosha, we don't do the throat, we don't do the third eye, we certainly don't do the crown. Those are all far too activating, and we bring them up in the other koshas. Okay, so don't forget the sankalpa twice. And people have asked me, why count back from 27? I mean, what's the magical number about 27? There are, so with the tantric theology, we have 27 constellations. They're called lunar mansions in Vedic astrology, the astrology of ancient India, which is also spreading across the West now. And so those 27 constellations are called our birth stars. So each one of us, then at the moment we were born, wherever the moon was in those 27 constellations, that becomes our birth star. And so to honor our soul essence as linked with those 27 constellations, then is expanding our sense of self into the celestial realm. And that's one of the reasons they use the number 27 to start back from. So to make that link from body to celestial. 27 times 2 is 54. So, and then 54 times 2 is 108. And 108 is the sacred number that again links us to the celestial realm. The diameter, the distance of the Earth's core to the sun divided by the distance of the Earth's core to the moon is approximately 108. I know. And then the other thing is, I guess, the distance of the Earth to the moon divided by the diameter of the moon is approximately 108. And again, distance of to the sun divided by the diameter of the sun is approximately 108. So these were ratios that the ancient astronomers knew and discovered. And this is one thing that in America for the last 48 years, people have asked me, what is the sacred about 108? It is our link to the celestial realm.
I love it.
And then if you just take the 27 lunar mansions, these constellations, and you think of the entire Earth as a sphere, which is what it is, and you divide it up into quarters, so you have 4 quarters. So the power and influence of those 27 lunar mansions in each quarter is 27, 27, 27, 27. That's 108. So we have malas, your wrist malas, little wrist malas will usually have 27 beads. And then the malas that you wear and use will either be 54 or 108. And there's always one bead that is called the guru bead. So the one bead, I didn't bring my long mala. Yeah. Okay. I'll bring it next. You have a long mala? You have a proper one with the, let me see if you have a guru bead. Okay, sure. So I'm taking Clay's mala here. Thank you. So here's 108 mala. Okay. 108 beads. And notice that at the very end, there'll be a bead that, I mean, it's still 108, but it's kind of a little bit outside of it. And that's called the guru bead. So when we use the mala for mantra, you avoid the index finger because the index finger is the ego. So you omit the ego and you move it along like this, away from you with the thumb and the other fingers. And then when you get to the guru bead, you don't continue beyond it. You turn around and you go the other direction. Because in your mind, you have climbed the peak of the mountain of the chakra field, and now you're going down the other side of the mountain. So you visualize your japamala as the triadic cylindrical peak of the mountain of chakras. It's also simultaneously the cone that is the quarter of the universe as a sphere, the earth. So it's all of the symbology that's embedded in the japamala and how to use it. Thank you, Clay. Okay, so that's why 27, 54, 108. 54 is all about inside and outside, the 27 inside, the inner realm, outer realm. Okay, so components, and you have that on your, and does everybody online know how to access both Google Drive and your Google Calendar? Yeah. Okay, I want to be sure that.
What are the 3 chakra points?
The chakra points here, yeah. So the root chakra, pelvic chakra, and the navel chakra.
And so you do a 27 backwards 3 times.
Yeah, if you have the time.
If you have time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, plan for 25 to 30 minutes on your script. If you don't have the time, then just do 2 of them, but you must do at least 2
Okay.
because the mind needs, when we do longer yoga nidras, which can extend 40-45 minutes, then we can count backwards from 54, and the really advanced ones we count backwards from 108. We do the 108 like just one time, because the mind it'll be wandering too much when you're going to go to such a long sequence. When you're working with children and families, then to reduce the number, just pick anything, 15, 10. So I've worked with young children a lot in designing things. They would just love to do first they would do it aloud, 5, 4. And then even when they're all lying down, they still wanted to do the counting by themselves and aloud. So to let them do it, because it's the joy of being in the group and doing it, having a common joyful activity, and they're getting relaxed in the process. Then you can quietly guide them. Now whisper it. And they love to whisper and get all the sounds of the whispering going. And then they'll do a little bit of silent work. So I know some of you are going to be working with Yoga Nidra for children. Okay, I'm going to shut down anything that's open here and welcome the online group to have your place ready, make your little nest. Just make sure you can hear my voice, and everybody here, same thing, to cocoon yourselves. I don't know if we want to, are we okay with this much light in the room? Do we? Otherwise, any one of you you're welcome to Draw any of the shades. I'll just let you know if the light is enough for this. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, this is your time. This is your moment. You're here and now. You're all mine. And I'm all yours. And we all belong to each other. We are the ones we have been praying for. Claim your space, claim your moment. Let's draw an imaginary cocoon around you like a beautiful golden egg in which you are enshrined. You can imagine that being your own cave, your own warm bed of dry sand, any beautiful crystal cave you're going into. Just notice your breathing, notice the sensations, how the body feels against the mat, the blanket, your clothes, the feel of the earth beneath you, the gentle sensations of breath. Yeah, make a few sounds to just release. Yeah. Shake out your feet a little bit, shake out your hands. Let's gently roll the hips a little bit, roll the shoulders, move your head from side to side. And before we begin Yoga Nidra, we will make a group intention, both in cyberspace and in physical space here, that we shall remain awake and alert in a deeply relaxed way. And review your own personal sankalpa, your intention, asking that that be grounded and centered in your Mooladhara, your root chakra, your earth field, your annamaya kosha, your deep being of rest, to be given permission to rest. Now we shall squeeze and release all big muscles of the body, starting with the feet. Rotate your ankles in both directions. Squeeze and release the toes. Offer gratitude to your feet, carrying us all day. Now squeezing both legs all at once. Tight, 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 all the way to the glutes. Hold, hold, and release. And again, tighten, 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 and release. Now the belly. Inhale, tighten the belly. Hold, hold, hold. Release. And again, the belly. Inhale. Exhale. The rib cage. Inhale. Tighten the rib cage. Arch the back. Hold. Release. And again. Inhale at the chest. Exhale. Throat, neck. Inhale. Tighten the throat and neck muscles. The shoulders. Release. And again. Inhale. Exhale. The arms. Shake out your fingers. Clench and release the fists. Feel the power and movement in those fingers as you rotate the wrists in both directions. Thanking your hands for working for us all day. Now both arms at once. Inhale, tighten both arms all the way to the shoulders. Hold, hold, hold. Release. And again, inhale, exhale. The face, inhale, Tighten all muscles of the face. Hold, hold, release. And again, tighten the muscles of the face, eyes, eyebrows, lips, cheeks, jaws. Release. Whole body 3 times. Inhale. Tighten all the body muscles. Hold, hold, hold. Release. And again. Whole body. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, whole body. Inhale. Tighten. Raise the head. Raise the head. And release. Gently shift your body side to side. Yeah, get all those coughing, sneezing, yawning. And down. Again, shoulder shrugs, releasing neck tension, moving the head. Sending your awareness to any parts of the body that feel tight or tense. Do a squeeze and release. Your own squeeze and release. Check the shoulders, the upper back, middle back, lower back. Check the arms, the hands, check the legs, the feet, check the face, scrunch the eyes, the lips, the jaws, and release. Pull your tongue out and gently rotate in both directions. And let the tongue rest in the roof of the mouth. The whole body, sending your awareness through the whole body from head to toe. Checking the points of contact of the body and the floor. Sending your awareness to those points of contact. Back of the head and the floor. Back of the shoulders and the floor. Whole back side of the body touching the floor. Back of the arms and the floor. Back of the legs and the floor. Whole back side of the body. The sensation of being pulled into the floor, relaxing into the floor. Feeling the heaviness. Heaviness. The body's heavy. Legs are heavy. Arms are heavy. The head is heavy. Whole body is heavy, relaxed, being pulled into the floor, the magnetic attraction of the biggest magnet we will ever know in our lives, pulling us towards itself, Mother Earth, embracing us, supporting us, stabilizing us, grounding us, centering us. Feel the power of being supported, heavy, relaxed, heavy, relaxed. Now feel the lightness of the body as if you're floating in outer space, doing somersaults, or you're in a helium balloon tethered, just wanting to rise up. Sensation of lightness, like a leaf floating in the wind. Sensation of lightness, and back to heavy, heavy, resting, resting. Feel both sensations, light and heavy, light and heavy. Now following the breath. In Yoga Nidra, we create a psychic triangle between the tip of the nose, base of the throat, and behind the navel. Tip of the nose representing the 2 air currents represents our outer waking awareness. The base of the throat represents the intermediate state, the surface of the skin. represents the intermediate dreaming state. And behind the navel represents the deep sleep state. Join these 3 points in golden light. Fill that triangle with shimmering golden light. As we inhale and exhale, just follow the edges of this triangle. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Taking your awareness to the root chakra. Visualize a red triangle pointed downwards. So the hips are the edges of the triangle, pointing downwards into the earth. Beautiful, deep, blood red with a golden dot in the center that aligns with the tip of your spine. Let your awareness be in this root chakra. Surround that with the beautiful dark new moon, full spherical new moon. Red triangle pointing downwards. And offer your sankalpa, your intention, 3 times into this root chakra at the base of the spine, into the red triangle, into the new moon. Three times. With clarity and focus, with an intensity of releasing it into the earth. And the image that you have that links you to the words. Let that image be generated and be present inside this dark new moon, being held in the strong potency, the dormancy of the earth's field, supporting you, holding you. And the bright red triangle adding to the vitality, the vital force, the physical shakti of your whole being is working with the energy of your sankalpa. Now bringing your awareness into the whole body, spreading your awareness through your whole body into the head and face, into the arms and legs, into the upper chest, middle chest, the belly, lower belly, filling the contours of the body. Your body outlines are being filled with your awareness. The whole body, feeling the sensations of within the body, the blood, the flesh, the bones, the muscles, the organs, the density of the body, the space that the body is occupying, the heaviness, at the same time the lightness, the empty space that is in every cell of your being, going into that weightless empty space and into the heaviness of bone and bone marrow. Now we're going to rotate our consciousness through different body parts. All you have to do is visualize that body part in soft, gentle white light while you mentally repeat the body part after me. Begin with the right side of the body, and then go to the left. Begin with the right hand, visualizing right hand thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist. Whole right hand in soft white light. Lower arm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, armpit, whole right arm all at once, right shoulder, right waist, right hip, right thigh, right knee, calf muscles, right foot, the ankle, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right foot all at once, the whole right leg all at once. Left side of the body, begin with the right hand. Begin with the left hand thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, the whole left hand in soft white light, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, armpit, left arm all at once, left shoulder, left waist, left hip, left thigh, left knee, calf muscles, left foot, the ankle, bottom of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, the left foot all at once, the left leg all at once, left leg and right leg together, visualize both arms together. Now we take our awareness to the back side of the body. Start with the right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, the right side of the back touching the floor, left side of the back touching the floor, the middle of the back, the spine, the vertebrae, the discs, the curve of the spine, the spinal cord, in the center of the spine. Visualizing the spinal fluid flowing in both directions, the texture of honey. Visualize it glowing as bright white liquid light in both directions. The cerebrospinal fluid moving through the whole spine, splashing into the brain tissues and organs. When it flows down to the base of the spine, sending signals to the entire nervous system. All nerves are bathed in this beautiful liquid light. Imagine the whole back as a river of light. Millions of channels of light in both directions, from the spine to both sides of the body. The whole back side of the body back of the head, top of the head, sides of the head, the hair and scalp. Imagine golden light just caressing your hair and scalp, the whole head, the face, soft beams of golden light on your face, lighting up the parts of the face, the millions of nerve endings to all the 5 senses. Mentally repeat the parts of the face with me as you visualize the forehead, middle of the forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, right eye, left eye, right eyelids, left eyelids, right eye socket, left eye socket, right pupil of the eye, left pupil of the eye, the whole of the right eye, the whole of the left eye, both eyes together, the right ear, the left ear, the outer ears, the middle ears, the inner ears, both ears together, right cheek, left cheek, right jaw, left jaw, both cheeks together, the mouth, upper lip, lower lip, the space between the lips, the tongue, top of the tongue, bottom of the tongue, sides of the tongue, inside of the cheeks, the whole mouth, the nose, tip of the nose, right nostril, left nostril, both nostrils together, the whole nose. Now the whole face all at once, soft, shining golden light, the whole face. Again, the whole face, bringing deep nourishment to all of the nerve endings of the 5 senses, the links to the 5 elements. Now your body awareness on the top side of the body, your awareness flowing down both arms, upper chest, middle chest, the belly region, lower belly, both legs, all the way down to the tippy toes. 3 times, just flush the body with soft, warm, golden light. This moving imagery using our 3rd eye chakra, engaging with the electromagnetic field of the whole body, assists in bringing deep relaxation to the parts of the brain linked to the motor nerves, the sensory nerves, and even begins to impact the central nervous system in a beautiful, relaxed way. As the heart rate goes down, less oxygen is needed. We produce less waste products. Temperature becomes stabilized. Thoughts begin to die down. The whole body deeply relaxed. All the parts of the brain deeply relaxed. Now taking your awareness to the base of the spine, the root chakra. Now to the fullness of the new moon. A deep black, that which attracts everything towards itself. And the red triangle facing downwards, the golden dot. And the sensation of what the tip of the spine might feel inside of you. And the breath, sensation of breath, passing in and out of the root chakra as your whole belly is rising and falling. And the root chakra, the coccygeal plexus, all of the clusters of nerve endings are being fed by this prana, this life force. Inhaling in and out the root chakra. 27, inhale. Exhale. 26, inhale at the root chakra. Exhale. 25, inhale. Exhale. 24, inhale at the base of the spine. Exhale. 23, inhale. Exhale. 22, inhale. Exhale. 21, inhale. Exhale. 20, inhale at the root. Exhale. Continue on your own. Awareness to the tip of the spine. Counting at the spine. Releasing any counting and sinking your awareness into the base of the spine. Sinking your awareness into the lower belly. Following a spot of soft white light at the tip of the spine. Following the light upwards, going into the pelvic chakra at the approximate point of where we have the sacral vertebrae in the spine, about 2 inches below the navel. The water element. It's visualizing a beautiful big drop of water, like a transparent water balloon. And visualize the pelvic bone and joint. Seat your consciousness in that lower belly. Feel the rise and fall of the lower belly as you inhale and exhale at the pelvic chakra. Svadhisthana in Sanskrit. The dwelling of one's self-awareness is starting to emerge. Sense of separateness is starting to emerge. This is the chakra that guides our developing sense as a separate person. Our gender, sexuality, our relationships, our own relationship to ourself, the formation of all the characteristics of having fluidity and yet some structure. Water that can take the shape of a container. There is fluidity, at the same time there is structure. Feel the rise and fall of the lower belly at the second chakra. And as we begin counting backwards, the lower belly, as before, you count together till 20 and you just count on your own. If you lose track at any time, just come back to 27. We begin now, 27, inhale at the water chakra. Exhale. 26, inhale, lower belly. Exhale. 25, inhale. Exhale. 24, inhale. Exhale. 23, inhale. Exhale. 22, inhale. Exhale. 21, inhale. Exhale. 20, inhale. Exhale. Continue on your own. Awareness of the sacral region, lower belly. Counting at the belly, sinking your awareness, the pelvic chakra. Releasing all counting, gently feeling that sensation of letting your breath, your awareness sink into the whole lower belly, occupy the whole region of the base of the spine, the organs of the lower belly, the pelvic region, the round, transparent drop of water. Feeling the fluidity of blood, the fluidity of our own nature of consciousness as more fluid, but also stabilized. Feeling the stability of the spine, the pelvic joint, the hips, the legs, the feet. The legs and feet are all extensions of the root chakra. The stability of being grounded and held and supported. Feel that ball of golden light from the base of the spine, spreading its golden light as your awareness climbs up the spine, going through the lower belly, and now the awareness right behind the navel. Between the navel and the spine lies the location of the Manipura chakra, the chakra that is the fire element, the fire of digestion, the fire of the combustion and oxidation of food, in which is dormant the potential to release energy and feed our consciousness. So your awareness behind the navel, soft orange glowing flames. Feel the navel rising and falling as you inhale and exhale. The belly rises when you inhale and the belly falls when you exhale. Your own spontaneous, natural, relaxed breathing. As before, we shall count backwards from 27 at the navel. 27, inhale, belly rising. Exhale. 26, inhale at the navel. Exhale. 25, inhale. Exhale. 24, inhale at the belly. Exhale. 23, inhale. Exhale. 22, inhale. Exhale. 21, inhale. Exhale. 20, inhale. Exhale. Continue on your own awareness at the navel, the fire element. Release all counting, sinking your awareness into the belly, expanding that orange gold light of the flames of the fire, expanding. Taking the awareness, moving further up along the spine, through the solar plexus and into the rib cage, occupying the whole chest region with soft golden light. Feel the rise and fall of the chest as you inhale and exhale. Moving through the upper chest, the base of the throat, feeling the air currents moving through the base of the throat into the lungs. Feeling the slight pulsation at the base of the throat with each breath. Now moving the awareness further through the brainstem into the center of the head. Feel that splashing of the cerebrospinal fluid through the whole head, the organs, the tissues, the folds, the hard edges of the skull. Feeling your awareness touch the edges of the skull and being held and supported by the stability, the strength, and the roundness of the skull, the plates of the skull, all woven together, supporting, holding, protecting. Now, taking your awareness gently to the space in front of the closed eyes. And installing a mental screen, a white tablet, wherever it's comfortable for you to view, maybe 4 inches to 8 inches, somewhere in that range. As we gaze out onto the mental screen, watching the play of the mind, watching the play of a mind in three movements of a cycle: creation, preservation, dissolution. Tamas, rajas, and sattva. The play of the gunas. What is it that arises in the mind, on the screen? What is it that stays and plays for a while? And what is it that dissolves to the edges of the screen? What is it that feels heavy? What is it that feels like it's holding you back? What is it that feels like resistance? Just to notice it, to watch it through this cycle. It arises in the mind, it plays for a while, and then it dissolves. And watching the next movement of mind, whether it be the same thought or sensation, or an image or colors, or maybe nothing at all. To watch yourself as a witness, watching the play of mind, the witness at the third eye watching. I am the observer. I am not the images that come and go on the screen of the mind. What we call Chidakash in Sanskrit. Akasha is the endless sky. Chit is consciousness, awareness. The sky of consciousness. What arises, what abides, and what dissolves into this vast sky of the mind. Watch this cycle. When there's a pause between any two movements of mind, notice the pause. even if it's just a fraction of a moment. Just notice it. Some images now in front of the screen. Tall mountains capped with snow. The mountain landscape surrounding us, the fresh snow on the mountains. The deep icy glaciers, the thick layers of ice interwoven in the peaks and valleys. Ice caves, you come across an ice cave. Almost like an igloo, beautifully shaped ice cave. Lovely entrance to the ice cave that feels warm and glowing. You go into the ice cave. Soft light inside from an oil lamp, lighting up the inside of the ice cave as you are comfortably layered in robes of fur and feathers and shawls, feeling very warm and cozy in this ice cave. And as you look around you in the ice cave, there's a beautiful family of sea lions resting and sleeping on the floor of the ice caves. You lie down and sleep with them, feeling the oily smoothness of their skin, the heaviness, the warmth and comfort of all these seals holding you, inviting you. You rest deeply in this ice cave. Soft lamp. Feel the radiance of the light moving deep into your bones, into your muscles, into your tissues, into the blood, into the flesh, into the shape of your body. Feel the coziness of the furs and the blankets and the shawls. Feel the warmth of the bodies of the seals all around you. To be embraced into the animal world, those who live in the water and on the rocks and ice. To be a part of that life. You're petting the head of a sea lion, and its cute whiskers as it nestles its face into your lap. You begin caressing all the sea animals around you. They all gather to be caressed. Feel the radiance and the love and the sensation of connection. The connection with all of the animals of the ground, the rocks, the water, in this ice cave, being held in the embrace of the earth element. Now you find yourself in a crystal cave, a few feet below the ground. There were steps that you took to bring you into this shining crystal cave, this quartz and smoky quartz and shining citrine and glowing orange and red, the corals all around you, seeing the beautiful living remnants of coral, the crystals, as your hand feels the textures, the beautifully shaped quartz, the facets of these crystals catching the light. You find a beautiful mound of sand you can sink into, surrounded by the crystals and coral at the edges. You touch the soft shaped corals and their strands and webs. And gratitude for the life inside the ocean and on the seafloor, deep in the earth chakra. You're in your warm bed of sand, this crystal cave, resting deeply in this bed of sand, touching the crystals, feeling the radiant light, feeling the inner electromagnetic fields of these crystals, which are pulsating in their own light, radiating and amplifying your own energy field. In that crystal cave, in that warm bed of dry sand, just receive the sounds of the bija mantra of the earth element, the root chakra. Let the sounds reverberate and be amplified by the crystal energies, which are radiating and illuminating your whole presence. Lam. 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 Being deeply nurtured and bathed in the sounds, sacred sounds of the earth element, linking you to all creatures, to all parts of the earthy landscape of our beautiful mother home as a child of earth. You gently find yourself back in your place, in your body, in your clothes around your body, the blanket, the shawl, the mat, the shape of your body on the floor, the sensation of breath as your body rises and falls at the chest, at the navel. Gently begin to move your hands and feet. Gently roll your head from side to side. Now bigger movements, stretching your arms and legs, taking deeper breaths, arching the back, stretching your arms way behind the head, clasping the hands, and bringing your legs folded at the knees towards the chest and holding your legs wherever you can. And gently begin to rock your body from side to side. Slow and easy. Slowly rolling to your right side and resting for a moment. As a child in the field of the mother. Deepening your breath, blinking your eyes, and slowly sitting up into a seated position. Slow and gentle. Deepening the breath, blinking the eyes, having a soft gaze. And as you come up, stretching your arms, shaking out your hands. Again, gently moving your head from side to side, shrugging the shoulders. Gentle spinal twist as you deepen the breath, blinking the eyes. Rock your spine a bit, forward, backward, side to side. Good stretch. Coming into the external awareness. Still feeling that cocoon of golden light all around you. Bringing your hands into the Jnana Mudra, the wisdom position. Forefinger and thumb touching. And the three outstretched fingers representing the three states of awareness, sleeping, waking, and dreaming. This is Om with our hands, and then the circle representing that bindu, that drop of bliss that is Om itself, the transcendental. We now close with the closing prayers, calling on the divine to guide us from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality, to peace, peace, peace. Bring your palms in the Anjali Mudra, the receptive mudra right at the chest, and recite with me. And you can, those of you who need to learn the words, you have the handout on the outline of Yoga Nidra that has the words on it, but not now. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Take your thing to that third eye. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. I've just, that was probably the longest Yoga Nidra we have done.
Thank you.
I know you had to leave in between, but you did beautifully in maintaining the flow. Oh.
Yeah, really bad. I had an uncharacteristically large greasy brunch before I picked you up, and as soon as I laid down, my stomach started to cramp.
How's everybody online doing, huh? Wow.
Good.
Jackie,
Thank you.
Christine, Laura, Eve, Karen. So this took you on a big journey, and we did the counting backwards at the 3 lower chakras. We were introduced to the sacred geometry of the root chakra. The one thing I have to add to that would be a golden square. So you have a red triangle facing down, so it's from the hips facing down. So when we're standing, so for these chakras, we visualize them with the facing downwards. And then there is, when we actually sit and we want to contemplate the energy of the Kundalini moving through us, we can bring the geometry parallel to the ground, so that the bindu in each one of them, the drop of golden light, each one of them lines up to allow the central channel to be visualized as a golden pillar of light. That's a Shimna. But slowly. So I know it's time for us to close class. We will continue the Thursday after, I guess. So a short note, I want to bring your attention to 3 assignments. You have a half-page reflection to do on 2 practices. And then you have the script writing. So the first thing that's due is a half-page reflection on 2 practices. That's due February 10th. It's all on your Google Calendar. It's also on your agenda for today. And then the script, we'll continuously keep working on that. That's due Sunday the 13th. And then you have your first book report. You pick one of the 3 books and write about a page and a half, and I've given you some guidelines. The lens we're going to keep using are these triads of different lenses, the gunas, the states of mind, the koshas, the elements. So thank you all. And those of you who are online, you have some time, just reflect a little bit in your journal, thinking about how this was different, what was the impact for you. And for those of us who can gather now at Yurihana for our social time, we'll continue some reflection there. Yeah, because we have to close down.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye, stay in touch. And if you want to come to
Thank
office
you.
hours next Thursday, then I'll be there. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.